All right, this time we're going to lay out a collar tie. I'm going to do this on a 2x6. Generally a collar tie is done with a 2x4. Now I'm just going to choose a measure because my board here is only about 8 feet long. Once we do our calculation for a collar tie, which, if you remember what the calculation is, our drop of our collar tie in inches divided by our unit rise, which is also in inches. When we multiply that by 2, will give us our answer in feet. We'll give our answer in feet and decimal feet. So for this one, let's just pretend that I've got an answer of 6 foot 6 inches, which would have been 6.5 and converted over. So on my collar tie, somewhere I have to start with a point. I'm going to come in from my little calculation and say that I'm going to start right here. This could be the edge of my board, but I'm going to start at that point. I will then measure. The answer that we came up with here will be at the bottom of our collar tie. We're going to use the bottom length measure as our drop. So our drop from the top of our roof will be to the underside of our collar tie. That way we can mark a placement up our common rafter at a later point. To physically draw out and cut my collar tie at 6 foot 6 inches, this is where I will begin. I'm going to stretch out my tape. I'm just going to butt it in there for this purpose, and I'm going to measure it out to 6 foot 6 inches. That is the measurement of my collar tie along the bottom. Now, as we stated in the previous lesson, if my slope of my roof was an 8 and 12, meaning that it is rising 8 inches for every 12 inches of run, I will be marking my cut, and this is like a face cut, of my collar tie on the rise and the run, and I will be going and marking it on the run. So I have 12 inches of run, 8 inches of rise, and I will mark it on my run. So this is the rise and run marked on the run. I'll do the same at the far end. 12 and 8 marked on my 12. And that is the length of my collar tie. The only thing I have left to do is to physically shorten it at either end. And I'm going to choose to shorten mine about 1/4 of an inch. I will do this on both sides. 1/4 of an inch. So again, 8 and 12. On the 12, I'll just mark my 1/4 inch shortening. I'll mark it down here as a 1/4 inch shortening. And I will carry those lines through. 12 inches, 8 inches, and carried through. This is where it will actually be cut. Same thing down at this end. 8 and 12. Mark that through. This is where it will be cut. I would then square this across. If I'm actually going to cut this, do I really need these lines? No, I can just take my circ saw, set it up, and cut this square across. I'll do that at both ends. And that would now be my collar tie at 6 foot 6 inches less my shortenings at either end.